All right, let's get right to it. Exam season is coming up fast. And you know what that means? It's time to nail down intentional torts. So today we're going to do a super quick, high-yield review. The whole goal here is to give you a killer attack plan for your final exam. Ready? Let's jump in. So when you really think about it, what are intentional torts all about? Well, it all comes down to this one big question. Basically, how does the law protect us, our bodies, our freedom, our stuff, from people who mess with them on purpose? You can think of these torts as the law drawing a big, bright line around each of us and saying, hey, world, don't cross this. It's like our legal, personal space bubble. Okay, to keep things super simple for exam day, just remember this. Every single intentional tort is about protecting one of just three things. Your right to physical integrity, so your body, your right to freedom of movement, being able to go where you want, and your right to exclusive possession of your property, your stuff. We're going to organize everything around these three categories. Trust me, it makes spotting issues on an exam so much easier. So first up, let's talk about protecting the person. And this is a big one. It's not just about getting punched, it's also about protecting your peace of mind. The classic tort for this? Assault. Okay, this is the black letter law. You've got to have this down cold. The key words here are intending to cause and imminent apprehension. So what does that really mean? The big takeaway is that assault is not about the contact itself. It's about the moment before the contact. It's about seeing the punch coming. The law is protecting you from the mental invasion of knowing an unwanted touch is about to happen. Now, for your exam answer, you have to break it down into the elements. Think of it like a checklist. Number 1, was there an intentional act? Number 2, did that act create a reasonable apprehension? And number 3, and this is a big one, was the apprehension of imminent, harmful, or offensive contact. We're not talking about a threat for next Tuesday. We're talking about right here, right now. I love this quote, a touching of the mind, if not of the body. This is pure gold for understanding assault. It tells you everything you need to know. The injury isn't broken bones. The injury is psychological. It's the invasion of your mental peace. That's what the tort is designed to fix. Okay, this is a classic exam trap, so listen up. Apprehension is not the same thing as fear. You don't have to be scared for it to be an assault. Apprehension just means you're aware of it. You see it coming. Think about it. Could a tiny person assault a heavyweight boxer? Absolutely. Even if the boxer isn't scared one bit, if they see the punch coming and know it's about to connect, that's apprehension. That's assault. Don't mix those two up. Okay, next interest up for protection are freedom of movement. And the tort that protects this right is, you guessed it, false imprisonment. So here's the rule. It's pretty straightforward. It's an unlawful act that intentionally confines or restrains someone inside a bounded area. And here's a key piece you can't forget. The victim has to be conscious of the confinement. If you're locked in a room while you're asleep and let out before you wake up, you never knew you were confined, so no false imprisonment. And here are those elements again, laid out just like you'd write them in an exam. You need an intentional act. That act has to result in confinement. The confinement has to be in a bounded area, meaning there's no reasonable way out. And, like we just said, the victim has to be aware of it. Hit all 4 of those and you've got a prima facie case. So what does confinement really mean? Does it have to be a jail cell? Absolutely not. Confinement can be a lot more subtle. It can be a threat of force, right? Or it can be a false claim of legal authority. Think about someone saying, you can't leave, the police are on their way. If that makes you stay put, you've been confined just as effectively as if they locked the door. Now, huge exam tip. Once you've established the elements for false imprisonment, you are not done. You always have to think about defenses. A really common one is the shopkeeper's privilege. This basically says a merchant can detain someone they reasonably suspect of shoplifting. But, and this is a big but, it has to be done in a reasonable manner and for a reasonable amount of time. If they're unreasonable on either of those, the privilege is gone and they're back on the hook for false imprisonment. All right, we've covered person and movement. Time for property. Let's start with land and one of the oldest torts there is, trespass. This is all about your right to tell the world, get off my lawn. The rule for trespass to land is beautiful because it's so simple. It's an intentional act that causes a physical invasion of someone else's land. That's it. Notice you don't have to prove any actual damage. Just walking on the grass is enough. The invasion is the harm. And here's the kicker. Mistake is not a defense. It doesn't matter if you genuinely thought it was your property. If you intended to walk there and it wasn't your land, that's trespass.
So let's get really clear on intent, because it's a little tricky. You don't have to intend to trespass. You just have to intend the act that results in the trespass. So if I intend to throw a baseball and I know with substantial certainty it's going to land in your yard, I've intended the act that causes the invasion. That's all the intent you need.
Okay, but the rule changes a bit from modern, less obvious invasions. We're not talking about a person or a baseball anymore. What about invisible things, like microscopic particles or smoke? For these intangible invasions, the rule is different. The plaintiff must prove actual and substantial damages. Why? Because otherwise we'd be suing each other for every speck of dust that blows over the property line. The law requires real harm here. All right, we've done land. Now let's talk about our other stuff, our personal property, or what the law calls chattels. This is your car, your laptop, your backpack, anything that isn't land. And there are two main torts here. So we have trespass to chattel and we have conversion. What's the difference? It's really just a matter of degree. Think of it like this. If I take your textbook for an hour and give it back with a bent page, that's a minor interference. That's trespass to chattel. The remedy? Maybe the cost of the book's lost use. But if I take your textbook, set it on fire, and throw it in a lake, that's a serious interference. That's conversion. The remedy there is a forced sale. I have to pay you the full value of the book. And believe it or not, these ancient torts apply directly to our digital world. Think about a computer server. Can you trespass on it? Yes! Sending a flood of spam emails that clogs up a server, slows it down, and actually impairs its function, that can be a trespass to chattel. But just like with the invisible particles on land, the key is you have to show actual harm to the system. Okay, we've gone through the big torts that protect us, our freedom and our property. Now for the most important part. How do you put this all together into a simple, repeatable framework to crush your exam? This is it, your 4-step attack plan. Step 1, the second you read a fact pattern, ask yourself, what fundamental interest got invaded here? Was it the person's body, their freedom to move, their land, their stuff? Step 2, based on your answer, pick the tort that fits. Easy. Step 3, walk through the elements. One by one, apply the facts to each element of the prima facie case. Don't skip a single one. And finally, step 4, and do not forget this. Are there any defenses? Is there a privilege like the shopkeeper's privilege that excuses the defendant's conduct? Follow these 4 steps every single time, and your answer will be structured, complete, and easy to grade. And there you have it. That's the game plan. You've got the core rules, you know the tricky distinctions, and now you have a framework to tackle any intentional torts problem they throw at you. So now you've got the tools. The only question is, can you spot the torts hiding in your next practice exam? Go get them.